You're still watching the Wednesday edition of New Dawn, and right now we've come to the discussion segment, and we're looking at an issue that has refused to go away and is not likely to go away for quite some time in the country, because virtually every Nigerian is feeling the heat now, and we're talking about fuel subsidy removal and price hike. But we're looking at the perspective of the major marketers this morning, and we want to actually x-ray the challenges therein. We want to look at what are the issues and how can these issues be surmounted. We have somebody who is a regular on this program. We're always delighted to have him around here, Mr. Gwenga Adeti. We would like to welcome you to New Dawn this morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. That's your terrain.
Yes.
And you know, when you are looking at fuel subsidy removal and price hike, everybody's looking at marketers and saying, okay, you guys are now enjoying. You are just putting all of us in stress. What exactly is going on now after the removal of fuel subsidy?
Okay. Like we've said on this show several times that after the removal of fuel subsidy, market forces come into play. Okay. That means that it's demand and supply now that comes into play, and then international prices of crude, international prices of refined products, and then the FX rate in the country will determine what the price will be at the pumps ultimately. So that is it. Government does not interfere in the pricing. Last week there was a price hike and everybody was shouting government, government, government. But government does not interfere in the pricing. It's totally market forces that determine what prices will be at filling stations.
Okay, when you say government doesn't interfere, what exactly? Because NNPCL is still the one, some people even say it shouldn't be the one to define petrol prices anymore. It doesn't have that right, And then you see all of these market forces that we keep talking about. Are the market forces not been there before the subsidy removal?
Okay, so for clarity, last week when NNPC came up with a price of 580 in Abeokuta, that was their own price. That was not the price that was forced on other marketers. Other marketers could decide to sell at whatever price they think it's profitable to them. So the fact that NNPC moved first and changed their prices does not mean that they are interfering in the pricing of the product. They are selling what is comfortable for them to sell. Now, talking about government interference, government will not totally exit, because there's still the regulatory aspect in which government has to ensure that quality product, things are done properly. So government is still going to, through NMDPRA, government is still going to interfere, at least ensure that things are done properly. But for pricing, that will not be done by government or any government agency, including NNPC, going forward. Everybody is at liberty to sell at whatever price you are able to land.
But where are we going from here, really? Because the international oil price, given the crude markets, may go up, and we're still battling with forex, shortage of dollars, and all of that. While some are already forecasting that we could buy a liter of petrol for 1,000 naira if care is not taken.
Okay, so we need to understand the dynamics. Last week or 2 weeks ago, the Black Sea grain issue with Russia, when they pulled out of that treaty, affected the price of crude. So I think crude is going to about $8-something per barrel as at early this week or yesterday. So we should understand that if crude continues to go up, prices will continue to go up. Now, crude is the #1 cost item in petroleum product. Then you now have to talk about FX. The government floated the naira, and after that, because of shortage of naira, the naira is falling against the dollar. So the more the naira falls against the dollar, the more it becomes more expensive to import products. So till everything stabilizes, we expect that if the two variables of FX and crude goes up, we expect prices to continue to go up. Whether it's going to get up to 1,000 naira, I don't know, but we'll have to just continue to monitor. The public needs to understand that it is temporary. Once prices of crude starts coming down, or we are able to make the naira stronger, then prices will start coming down in the pumps.
But the question is, okay, Nigeria, we found out that virtually nothing really comes down. And that's the sad price, that's the sad part of it. Majorly, you find once the prices get to a particular level, they stabilize there, they rarely come down. And even diesel, when we'll be talking about it, it's gone up and then it's come. But the price that it has really come down to is not as if it has really, maybe significantly, but it hasn't really. What I mean is, the impression we get when you say it's going to come, people are thinking, okay, can we ever get back to 118 naira to, per liter? Can we ever get down to that? Can we, we are going to just be dancing around this 580, 540, 450, 800, Can things ever get back,
Realistically, I don't see the prices coming as low as 180 naira. And this is why I say so. In 2021, when there was the COVID crisis, the price of crude fell internationally. Okay. We don't foresee something like that will push down the price of crude drastically like that. So if we look at a realistic figure of between $70 and $85 per barrel going forward, then we expect that the prices of PMS, which is petrol, should hover between 500 and 700, really 500 and 750 actually. Okay. I don't think that we're going to have the luxury of going back to the times of 180 or 190 per liter.
Even if our refineries are working and we don't have to transport or import or bring back or do any transactions, we do everything in-house.
Yes, because you see, even if the refineries are working and Abeokuta refinery is working, he's also going to buy the crude at international prices, so you have to sell his refined product at international prices.
But landing cost is out of it.
Yes, so that's where I'm going to. So you have some variable costs, like maybe freight might be cheaper, but those will take out maybe between 30 and 40 naira per liter. It's not going to be something significant of about 200 or 300 naira per liter. So yes, it's still going to be in the range of 500 to 750. So even when the refinery starts working, we're not expecting price changes of about 200 naira. No, we're expecting a price change of maybe about 50 naira maximum.
Yes. But once there's an increase, maybe in international oil price, there's always this sharp adjustment, just like we saw last week, despite the fact that they're still selling the old stock. But if there's a decrease, you hear them say, marketers will tell you, we're still selling the old stock, it has not, it can't affect us for now. So how come?
So it's a balancing act for marketers and filling station owners. So if price, and let me say this, that Nigerians need to get used to these fluctuations in prices. It's because we're just moving into the regulation that it seems like it's a big deal that prices move and everybody's shouting. Nigerians need to get used to it because that will happen a lot, either up or down. I know people will be happy when it comes down, but when it goes up, Nigeria needs to get used to it. So, for instance, diesel has been fluctuating seriously. It was 500 last week, it's about 600 today. Nobody cares because everybody's used to it. Even though most people don't use diesel, but even the few people that use diesel, everybody gets used to it. That once prices go up, I just need to adjust my pocket and buy more. So that's the issue. I didn't get the second question
No, I was talking about adjustments now.
Okay. So
once there's a hike, there's these sharp adjustments, and once there's a decrease, they tell you that they are still selling the old stock.
Okay, so let me answer that. If there's a hike, the marketer needs to go back to buy at the new price. So he takes up the price to be able to go back to the market, to go to restock. Now, once there's a decrease, he has the choice to maintain the price he's selling now or bring down his selling price and sell at a loss. Now, the beauty with the regulation is that if it decides to maintain its price, just next door, somebody might reduce his own price and people will go there. So he might be comfortable with selling fewer liters, just to be able to ensure that it doesn't run at a loss. And then once he exits that product, that batch of product, he goes to buy another batch at the new price. So we'll find out that on the streets, you have different prices, and significantly different prices as well, because everybody is doing his own economics and saying that I need to finish selling this stock at this price, I'm ready for my volumes to come down, and then when I finish selling, I'll now move to the new prices.
But I mean, we don't import every day.
Yes.
So for example, if the international oil price goes up today, will it still affect the existing stock?
Okay, so you see, everybody that imports product is doing that to make a profit. What happens, if we flip that question, what happens to a stock that's been imported and prices come down? You know, it's a loss to that marketer. So if there's an instance in which there's already product in tank and prices go up, that marketer or that importer should also get the benefit of that price difference, because if it goes down, he also gets the loss, he also bears the loss. So that's business. So even though there's
If it goes down, I don't think marketers will adjust the pump price, because they rather sell given the amount they paid for
okay,
heat.
so here is it. You have 5 different importers. They're not bringing product at the same time. So importer A brings product last week. You understand? Importer B brings product this week. When A brings product, his prices was up. B brings at a cheaper price, because at that time market had moved and it's cheaper. You know. So if next week prices goes further down, he can't hold the stock. There's a limit to which importer A can hold the stock, because there's also cost of funds and things like that. So at the end of the day, importer B will continue to sell because he has a good price. Importer A too has to say, let me reduce my price so that I can sell and then restock at a new market. So it's a balancing act between holding and selling. And marketers, I can tell you, or importers, as I tell you, that will work a lot on information. So they might bring new products, hold for a while, expecting that prices will go up. It's about making money. They are capitalists and entrepreneurs, so they must make money.
No, when you say you work on information, I think that's actually one of the things where you choke Nigerians. It looks like there's a cartel. You know, once that information just goes round. You know, this is how much we are going to sell. Or this is how before it grew up to what we have now. It was, you know, all the filling stations just shut down.
Yeah. And some start holding.
And then and then immediately after that, you now begin to find out, okay, when they begin to open, virtually everybody, the information.
And at that point, because I could remember last week, some even sold as high as 700 naira per liter.
Yes.
Just taking advantage of that hike.
Yes, the market will always regulate itself. However, I don't think there's a forum in which marketers sit down and say, this is what we should sell. So there's no forum like that in the industry, because every marketer or importer have different landed costs and overhead costs. So people are going to price based on their peculiar situations, not people sit down. When I talk about information, and these are information that are open to the public. Some are subscription based. You can check what the cost of crude is today. You can check what the cost of refined product. You can check for forecasts. Okay. You know, so even ordinary people that are willing, if you go to Google or you have some subscription, you can also make those forecasts. You can say, okay, in the next 2 or 3 months, where will the price of crude be based on current happenings? You know, there are 6 months forecast, 3 months forecast. So this is what the marketers will sit with to ensure that they take very good and informed decisions going forward, because the market is open to everybody. Your power of information and how effective you are will determine how much you are able to learn.
But the way it's sounding now, the refinery doesn't really make any difference. If we're clamoring for refinery and then the difference is just maybe about 50 naira or thereabout, is it not possible that, okay, what you sell inside is different from what you sell outside?
No, because whether you sell inside or you sell outside, there's a benchmark in which you have to price your product, which is international. So even if Dangote Refinery, for instance, sells to the Nigerian marketers in naira, it has to price based on international pricing. And because the dollar has only one window, which is the I&E window and the parallel window, it has to also do the conversion based on maybe the I&E window, and then go to land. So, aside from very little variable cost, like I said, the freight and maybe some other charges, the difference will not be significant.
No, well, maybe as a layman, I'm looking at the whole situation as a layman, okay? Prior to this time, we had the refinery. Before we had the refinery, we take the crude out of the country.
Yes.
It's going to be refined there. We pay for the refinery, refining, we pay for everything, then we bring it back again. Now, when it comes to the refinery that we have here, you know, we wouldn't pay the much we have paid, you know, when we had to take it out. I think, let me say we wouldn't. I think we shouldn't pay what we paid outside the country for refining to what we're paying for refining right inside the country. And then the freight is no longer there, you know, the landing and whatever costs are no longer there, you know, and every other cost.
So that's where that variance of 50, maybe 50 to 70 naira max will be, is to cater for the freight that should have been there if the product went out and came back into the country.
And what I'm saying is that 50 naira is minimal.
Yeah, well, it has to be realistic. What is the freight? You know, you can't deduct more than what your or less than what your cost is. If your cost for that freight is 50 naira, you can't go and deduct 100 naira because you're going to be running at a loss. So if the freight and all those other variable costs is actually 50 naira, that is what will be the difference in if the product had been imported. And let's not get it wrong. Nobody says that imported product will definitely be more expensive than Dangote's product or a local product. It depends on efficiency. So you might find that in the future, you can even land a product cheaper than even what Dangote might be willing to sell. There are different models that marketers will be, there are different agreements, there are different term agreements that marketers can sign with international refineries to be able to benchmark Dangote and even get better prices.
Okay, now even that brings me to this point of turnaround maintenance that has been a challenge for us as a people.
Okay.
Now, there are refineries abroad that have had a longer lifespan than our own refineries, and they are still working. Why is our own turnaround as if everything, the whole world has crashed down and we can't fix it?
So you have to put in the Nigerian system as well as corruption, because if we have those refineries and over the years and successive governments who have not been able to fix it, then it's not a technical issue, it's a political issue, the political will to fix it. Because as you have said, there are refineries everywhere that are being fixed and are being repaired without issues. So I don't know why successive governments will find it difficult to be able to put our refineries in place. And as I've always said on this program, those refineries are small refineries that might not be really viable. They are old, small refineries that might not be really viable. So what the government really needs to do is that, do we channel these amounts, huge amounts, humongous amounts that they've into building a bigger refinery that will be more effective and efficient, or do we continue to put in money into refineries that will never come into play?
But what is the turn? What are they actually turning around? Well, because every time they pump in money,
billions of money,
and then you're asking yourself, okay, can't they, you know, just decide on what exactly what they want to do?
As I've said, the technical aspect of it is not difficult if the government is really serious. It's the political will to do it.
I mean, let me get that if government is not really serious. So that means that governments over the years with this turnaround maintenance have not, you know, taken definite positions. They just want to be spending money.
I mean, but why should it take 10, 15 years to turn around a refinery? Even if you're building a new refinery, how long is it going to take? So why should we have successive governments that are trying to turn around 3 refineries? It doesn't make sense. It's the political will to do it. So maybe for whatever reasons, now that subsidy is gone, maybe there will be political will to do it because a lot of not so many more interest in the industry. Yes.
Okay. Now, what's the situation now? Wasn't it last week? MARKETER'S oil, imported oil. I think first time in many years.
Yes.
Apart from NMPCL now. So also it wasn't easy. They had to borrow from banks. Gather forex dollars here and there. So are more marketers open to importing these products?
I think so far, I'm very, very sure that NMDPRA had licensed 14, but they said additional more companies have been licensed. Now, this is the beauty of it is that people are going to be efficient in different levels. Okay. So we expect that the prices might come down a little bit. I think some filling stations are selling 570 now. Okay. Some are selling 575. NMPC is selling 580. So we'll continue to see that each marketer will continue to monitor what the other ones are doing, and then they will shift the prices.
But the differentials are not so significant.
Yeah, it's not so significant, but at least the populace, the people have a choice. I can decide to go to 575 or 570 instead of going to 580 or whatever any other station is selling. But what I'm saying is that when you have more people bringing in product, and there's a glut in the market, that can also force the prices down, because people don't want to hold their product for long. I mean, while in the first stages of it, let's wait and see what happens in another 3 months, then we'll have a better understanding.
But economically now, would this affect, because we're crying for, we need more dollars in the economy, the shortage of dollars, and all. Now if you have more marketers, they need dollars to do this, mopping up dollars here and there. Do you see that, what does that portend, for the economy, for the foreign exchange?
Okay, so that will affect, and not just oil, that will affect the price of any imported product, because that means you have to get if there is a lot of demand and there's limited supply, the prices of dollar go up. And not everybody can access dollar on the I and E window, so a lot of people still have to go to the black market, which is already doing between 840 and 860, depending on where you're buying. So that will take the prices of commodities generally, not just oil, up for imported products. However, if the refineries start to work, because oil takes a very large chunk of the FX that is in the country, if the refineries start to work, and this is where prices can also come down, it's going to free up FX, because you don't need to import anymore. So you don't need FX to open your LCs. So it's going to free up the FX, and then we expect that the FX will start coming down. If FX comes down, then it might be cheaper to import product as well.
Okay, will NMPCL be selling to them in Naira or dollars if refineries are working?
Selling to who now?
I mean, selling the crude. If Dangote refinery is working now, they will get the crude from the NMPCL. Because, given what you said earlier, what many experts have said, that even if Dangote refineries start working, it won't affect much, because you still have to buy the crude from NMPCL, and there's a benchmark, just like you said.
Yes. No, see, it's a process, and I think Forbes or somebody has already forecasted that Q1 next year is going to be positive for Nigeria. So I expect that a lot of these things that are being put in place will take at least 6 months for us to be able to see the effect. So Nigerians need to be a bit patient with the new government. Let us see exactly what they are doing as regards the FX, palliatives, and then the crude. About 2 weeks ago, a vessel was caught stealing crude. So if we're able to ramp up production, it also increases the FX.
But some people are saying that they really sure that that vessel was actually bombed. It was some people who were feeling that, okay, maybe it could have been a state-managed thing, that there were really not. I mean, how will you destroy a vessel,
Okay, that from what we heard, the vessel has a long history, so it keeps changing. The main time it's caught, it keeps changing the call sign. So, however, I think that there's a process, and this is where I might align with people, because it was caught and less than a week or 2 weeks, it was bombed. I think there's a normal process, but maybe the government decides to just do this to ensure that it's a deterrent for any other person that wants to go into that. So we saw the footage of where the military helicopter bombed it. We don't know if it's that same ship or it was just maybe an abandoned ship that they put there. But let's give the government the benefit of the doubt that the ship that stole the product was the one that was bombed.
But Mr. Adedoyin, this increase is suffocating. And I doubt if Nigerians can take another increase. We saw pockets of protests even in the wake of the current increase. So another increase coming to the picture. Are you not afraid how Nigerians will take this?
No, I don't want us to view it from there. Let's view it from the fact that if prices need to go up, they will go up because it's not in anybody's control. It's international forces, market forces that are pushing. However, if you look at the FAC amount that was announced last week, from about 800 billion to about 1.9 trillion for June, even though they said only 900 billion will be shared, which is still better than what was there before. So, I mean, the states and local governments is expected to have more funds. So, I expect that salary reviews should be done to be able to accommodate this hardship. Pensions that are being owed should be paid, because this is where the normal citizens can get the benefit of the removal of subsidy. So we're hoping that our governors and our local government people will do the needful by increasing the staff of their employees, since there's more money to share from the federal.
Well, I think Ogun State government has already taken a bold step in that direction. The government has announced some palliatives, which is going to begin to roll. And, well, we can only hope that we will survive this. Unfortunately, time is not our friend. We would have loved to continue to engage you more, but time has gone. And it's a subject, it's a topic that will still be with us for quite some time. We want to thank Flagweg Adedoyin, the major oil marketer, once again for being part of our discussion this morning. And I also congratulate you. Well, people say you guys are the ones enjoying it now, but then business is business. Yes. Thank you so much. We'll take a break on New Dawn. When we come back again, it will be time for another discussion. Stay with us.